UNICEF is the abbreviation for United Nations Children's Fund, which originally called as United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund during 1946 until 1953. UNICEF is a United Nations special program dedicated to assisting national efforts to improve children's health, nutrition, education, and also their general welfare. The UNICEF was founded to help children in military conflict countries. UNICEF has been working on helping and providing emergency food and health care to children and mothers, especially in countries that ever since devastated by World War II in 1946. After 1950, the fund focused its attention on broad-based initiatives aimed at improving children's welfare, especially in developing countries and in emergency situations. Aside from that, UNICEF also focuses most of its effort on areas where relatively modest investment can have a huge effect on the lives of the world's poorest children, such as disease prevention and care. UNICEF funds not only on healthcare, educational facilities and other welfare institutions, but also on children's immunization program. The government and the private donations are usually used to fund the UNICEF program.
Thank you, Aina. Here I will explain about some facts of child poverty. First of all, child poverty was estimated around 350 million children that were living in extreme poverty. World Bank Group UNICEF also stated that 1 in 6 children were living in extreme poverty before the pandemic. Secondly, UNICEF notes that there were 1 out of 3 children were living in multi-dimensional household. Means that some household encompasses the various deprivations experienced by poor people in their daily life, such as poor health, lack of education, inadequate living standard, and etc. Thirdly, factors that lead to child poverty, such as parental qualifications, low income, size of the family, and parental worldliness. Last but not least, children experience poverty differently from adults, as it will lead to negative outcomes such as socio-emotional development, stunting due to inadequate nutrition, and less to be productive adult. That's all from me. Next, I will pass to Karen.
Hi everyone, now I'm going to talk about my first point, that is lack of food, sanitation, shelter, healthcare and education. It's not an abnormal thing when the poor more prefer to be homeless than the non-poor. They're also more likely to rent a house and live in a poor neighborhood than buying or purchase for their own house. Talking about healthcare, the poor more likely to have a variety of health issues, while the poor children more likely to have lack of nutrition for their body. Talking about education, the poor children might have less access to schooling and education. So now I'm going to talk about my second point, that is the children may feel unequal to others. The poor children believe that they must work harder, twice harder than other children to achieve their dream, and forming a proper friendship can be also difficult for them. As well, the poor children might be compared with others. My third point is mental health issue among the children. The poor parents may argue or lose their passion more frequently. Every parent may become nervous, anxious, and depressed as a result of financial concern. And the effect is children with mental health issues may not be able to afford the bus fare to get service that can support them. So they must have to face all of this alone without any assistance. My second last point is bully issue. The children make up the most the circumstance, but bullying often target others that appear to be different. More than a fifth of children from the poorest families said they were getting bullied at school because their parents could not afford to buy the new uniform for them. My last point is gangs and exploitation. The poor children are more likely to grow up under the influence of older peers who are either in gangs or committing other forms of crime in such neighborhoods. And people of all age are more likely to become crime victims.
So next, I will explain about what we can do or the recommendation to reducing the urban child poverty. So number one, by universal child care allowance. So this is to gather evidence on when, where and how the universal child benefit can be used effectively to reduce child poverty and its long-term consequences. So the poverty is positively correlated with age of group, like group of childhood, and the targeting this group injects income to the household's budget and supports reductions of poverty. And investing in the child early years through a preventative approach. Number two, by safe social space for school-age children. So this is as a supportive place for those who are struggling at home or school, as well as for those who may experience bullying or social solutions. This is also to provide an inclusive and non-judgmental space, so where everyone is valued. And the third is we can increasing the child tax credit, which is the tax credits were designed to help families with the cost of to raising the children. And under the current law, families can receive a maximum child tax credit benefits, and it also makes the credit fully refundable, eliminating the phase-in, so parents and guardians with no earnings are still eligible for the full amount.
For conclusion, there are no children in this world deserve to live in poverty. The lack of food, security, education, and healthcare bring incomplete life basic need for them, which is very distressing. The children are holding the future, and they need to receive at least a basic need in their daily life, no matter where they came from. We need to aware the problem they face is one of the challenging in international system, which is led to human rights problem. Thus, we need a solution and method to solve the children poverty issue. To end the child poverty, the consequence is not only to have the children live comfortably, but also will improve their life in better environment. The UNICEF have a lot of plan for the children poverty, which is one of the plan is to cooperate with the government to protect children from poverty and deprivation, which is to improve the children's life by give them a social protection system. Besides, to have a good and stable life, the children's parents must have an access in many things that help them change their poverty life. However, this issue never stops if the world blindly ignore the fact that this issue is one of the global problems. In short, we need to unite and solve the problem with the help of NGO, government, and many people all around the world. The children poverty must come to an end by the future. Hopefully, no children deserve to live in poverty. Rather than working in young age, they must have an access to food, education, and healthcare without worrying anything and focus on their childhood life.